Are you struggling with making a padded Zara cap? No worries, let's get crafting. So I will start with my Zara cap base. The measurement is 27 inches length and 16 inches width. That is what I'll be working with, 27 inches length, 16 inches width. And for my maco, what I'll be using is 18 inches length and 2.5 inches width. The width is 2.5, the length 18 inches. So I'll fold to get my center. I'll use my Tailor chalk to mark the center both ways, both sides of the center. I'll mark it so that I'll get to know where to align with my fabric. I'm working with satin fabric for this project. So I've marked my maco, then I'll go ahead to fold my fabric lengthwise, then I'll make a notch at the center. For my fabric I folded lengthwise, I'll go ahead to make a notch at the center. This is to help me align my maco at the center of my fabric. So now I'll place my where I marked for my maco. That marked center should be directly at the center of your fabric, that same spot you nudge. So I'll now fold my fabric half an inch and place it over the maco. The maco is on the wrong side of my fabric. I'll sew down the sides of where the maco ends, then the lengthwise also, to keep my maco in place. Then for the fabric I'll use to pad my Zara cap, the length I'm working with is 37 inches, width is 10.5 inches. I'll just sew I'll fold widthwise and sew along the length. I've secured my maco in place. I'll set it aside. So I'll turn over to the good side the fabric I want to use for the padded design. So this is, I'll place the sewn part at the middle. Then my wording is the same measurement with my fabric. So after sewing, what I have is 5 inches. So that is what I did. Now for the wording, I cut it 10 inch, so I will fold it in two to give it like a weight. But you can go ahead to use foam for this part, because what I discovered was the foam gives it a thicker look than the wording. So you can actually use a foam for this. So I had to insert my wording into my fabric, keeping the sewn part at the middle. The sewn part is at the middle. So I'm done inserting it into the fabric. So see the thickness I got, but with foam you get a fuller thickness. So just keep that in mind. You can go ahead to use foam for this part. So now I'll now place it on my Zara base. Now the sewn part will be facing the good side of my fabric. That's how I kept it. Then I'll now sew the one side of the Zara base. I'll attach it to one side, then not directly on the foam, because if it's very thick it's difficult for your machine to sew on it. Then after placing it, I'll mark the center of my fabric, because it's from the center we'll start doing the twisted design. So at the center we'll get to do the twisted design. So I've secured the pad design on one side. So now I'll start stitching down with needle. This part you have to use needle and thread, and the technique is, don't stitch down straight, make a curve like actually how it will be placed on the head. You keep that structure in place while stitching down. Always ensure that when you're stitching down, it forms that shape of how it will be on the head. If you sew it flat, stitch it down flat, by the time you fold it over to sew, it becomes it won't be smooth and it becomes too tight for the head. The design becomes too tight and it won't give that fitting. So my needle, when I'm stitching down, my needle actually broke twice and is a bit rusty. So if you know how to prevent or how you keep your needles from being rusty, please, I would like you to share in the comment section, because I lost two needles broke while I was doing this stitching. So just leave it in the comment section how you prevent your needles from being rusty. So the way I'm stitching down, when I pass my needle, I pass it directly, like I bring it back directly from where it's been passed, so it will not be very visible. If you can see, I'll just pass it directly. Then at the back, I'll also do the same, pass it directly almost like where it came out from. Then I'll now move it between the Zara base and the padded design, in between. So that is where I do my moving. When I move my needle a bit, I'll now bring it out back at this out the outer part of my the base, my cap. Then I'll pass it almost immediately again where it came out from. Then I'll go back to the other side, do the same thing. Then I'll move my needle in between the Zara base and the padded design. That's how I kept moving till I got to the middle of this and my base, my cap. So that is how you do. Both in and out will now look like very neat, no thread passing all over here and there. So that is the way I use in stitching my own Zara base and attaching my padded design to my base. So if you have any other technique you use, you can also share in the comment section. But this way is how I do mine. So we are almost at the middle. I'm at the middle of my on my padded design. So from the this middle part, I'll start twisting. I'll first of all go ahead and secure my last stitch to my last stitch of the padded design to my Zara cap base. Once I secure it, I'll now go ahead to start twisting my design, because one part of the Zara cap has the padded look and the other part of the Zara cap has the twisted look. So yeah, I'm going ahead to start twisting. Make sure you always keep your cap base the way it will be shaped on the head. So now I'm going ahead to twist my this other part of our design. So just twist. You can twist how you want, a bigger twist, a smaller twist. And also the foam gives it a twist that is very firm. So if you're using a foam, you find that your twist will be slightly different from when you're using this warden to twist. So if you're using your foam, your twist will be slightly different. Just also take note of that. If you've watched up to this point and you've not joined the crafting, what are you waiting for? Click on the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. So I'll go ahead and stitch down also. Now at this last part, we had excess, the fabric, and the fabric was a bit longer because the measurement I used was 37, just to have an extra so that I will not run out of fabric. So I'll go ahead to cut out the excess wording. Then I'll now stitch to keep in place. I'll use my machine to run it and keep it in place. Then the excess fabric, I'll go ahead to cut it after stitching in place. After stitching in place, I'll go ahead to cut the excess fabric. So I am done with attaching my padded design. So now is to close our Zara cap. So for the closing, ensure you take the head circumference of your client or yourself. So I will be closing with 12. That is head circumference of 24. The head circumference I'm working with is 23.5, but I'll just make it 24. So I'll be closing with 12. So from that 12, I will sew down all the sides of the Zara cap. I'm done sewing down. So I'll now do my running stitch. The running stitch should start below the base, that is the edge circumference. Don't start your running stitch from the edge circumference, start it below the edge circumference, that is below your maco. That is where you start your running stitch, so that it will not be too tight. If you do your running stitch from the edge circumference, it may be too tight for your client. So always remember below your edge circumference. So I'm done doing my running stitch, so I'm back stitching to keep my running stitch very secure. So what I'm doing now is back stitching to keep my running stitch very secure. If you've not liked this video, what are you waiting for? Give it a thumbs up, so more it helps the algorithm to push the video to other persons. Also share this video. If you found value for it, share this video. So we are done. I'm turning it to the good side. I'm done with the base. We still have the final design to put on our Zara cap. So look at the back. See how neat it is. So clean. You can leave it this way without attaching any design. But you know me, I want to add some glam to this elegant looking Zara cap, so I want to attach a glam to it. Let's take it to another level. So for the design to attach, what I'm working with, the length is 50 and the width is 5 inches. That is after I've joined it together, and my sewn part is at the middle, as always is at the middle. So the crinoline I'm working with is 3 inches crinoline, the width. The length is also 50, and meanwhile my fabric is 5 inches. So now what we'll do is you sew along the length of your fabric 3 inches. Sew 3 inches that will fit in your crinoline. So I've done that. I've fitted my crinoline into it. So I have 2 inches extra left. So at that edge of your extra you have, I'll start making my running stitch. I'll start making my running stitch from one end to the other end of my fabric till I exhaust my fabric. What we are forming now, look at the beautiful ruffles we are forming. So this crinoline gives it a structure. It gives your ruffles a structure and it stands out elegant. One more time, if you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that notification bell, click on the subscribe button so you'll be the first to be notified when new video drops. Click on the subscribe button to join the craft team for more headwear tutorials, fashion accessory DIYs and millinery tips. And share this video and like this video if you found value watching this video. Give it a thumbs up. Thank you for liking this video and sharing this video. So I'll just go ahead to do my final stitch to keep my ruffle in place. When I'm done with stitching down to keep my ruffles in place, I'll now attach it to the back of my Zara cap. Now with these ruffles, you can attach it anywhere you want for any other design, even on your Zara cap. But now I'll be attaching it to the back of my Zara cap. That is where I'll be attaching my own. I'll use my needle and thread. You can use your hot glue to attach it, but needle and thread keeps your work very secure. So this is the final outlook. Look how glamorous this is. Tell me this isn't beautiful. I went ahead to embellish with a brooch. You can accessorize it with any other material. Whatever you think you can create. So be creative. Till we meet again, stay safe and bye.